Okay, we're back today for lesson 3 of organic chemistry, and lesson 3 is our last lesson. So we are just going to finish up our very brief introduction to organic chemistry by talking about the two other basic groups of organic compounds, the alkenes and the alkynes. So before you've been doing alkanes, and those were organic compounds that only contained single bonds. And today we're going to say, okay, what if there's a double bond or a triple bond? Going along with this lesson, there are guided notes, so you can pull those up and fill them out while we're going. And we're going to start with alkenes. So alkenes are going to be hydrocarbons, so compounds containing just hydrogen and carbon, and they are going to contain a double bond. One double bond or more than one somewhere in the structure. So the picture down there at the bottom, you see a double bond between these two carbon atoms. So that's going to make it an alkene. The general formula for alkenes is CnH2n. So for every one of these, there's two hydrogens. And these compounds are unsaturated. And the double bond is a reactive site for other atoms, meaning that not everything has to be totally covered in hydrogen anymore, because double bonds are going to take up two of those valence electrons, not just one. Prefixes for alkenes are exactly the same as the ones that we've been using. Notice that there's not one anymore because you can't have a single carbon and a double bond between. It doesn't work that way. So this one's going to start with 2, and all the prefixes are the same. The only thing that changes is the ending. So instead of the ending being ane, A-N-E, this one's going to be ene. So it's ethene, propene, butene, pentene, and so on. So it gets the same ending as the alkenes, goes on the end of their names. And these are going to be very similar to name them from their drawings. But I actually think that these ones are kind of easier because it's easier to find the parent chain. And the reason is the parent chain has to have the double bond in it. So even if it's not the longest chain in your molecule, the parent chain has to have the double bond. So if we look at this compound here and we want to figure out what we would name it, first thing we're going to do is find the parent chain. So we could start counting our carbons, and we could count that there, if we went here, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be a chain with 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So even though this has 6 carbons in a row, it doesn't have the double bond, so I can't use it as the parent chain. So for the parent chain on this one, we're going to have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon long chain. After we find the parent chain, we want to number the parent chain so we can see where any of our side chains come from. And I think it's easier to name this one too because you have to start naming the end closest to the double bond. So I'm going to want to start where I want to put 1 right next to where the double bond is, or make it the smallest number. So if I numbered this one, this would be my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon chain. And then when I name the parent chain, I want to indicate where the double bond is by stating the number dash the name of the parent chain. So this number comes from the carbon that the double bond comes next. So for mine, I have my first carbon, then my double bond is there. So I would call this one 1, and then it would be pentene because there are 5 carbons. Double bonds get the ends in ene. So when I'm going through and I just want to use that number there to indicate that the double bond comes after the first carbon. If the double bond was here, then it would be 3 pentene. That number just shows where the double bond is in the compound. Then I'm going to name my branches. So this is a side chain. there are 2 carbons in it. So just like before, when I have a 2-carbon side chain, I call it ethene, or I'm sorry, ethyl, with the ol ending, YL. And then I'm going to name it based off the number of carbon it comes off of. So for this compound, I'm going to end up being 2-ethyl. My side chain comes off the 2nd carbon. It's an ethyl group. Dash 1-pentene. So my side chain number carbon, my side chain name, my number from my parent chain, and my parent chain's name. 2-ethyl 1-pentene. All right, there's a couple practice on here. We'll do them together. It's the same process. So find your parent chain, number your parent chain, find your side chains, name the whole compound. So parent chain here, I might be in the way. I'm going to move myself. Whoop, there I am. All right, so this one's easy because there's no side chains. Everything's in a straight line. And have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons. So my parent chain is going to be a 6-carbon molecule. I want to start numbering from the side closest to the double bond, which would be this side here. So this would be my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons. So my parent chain, I'm going to look at which carbon does my double bond come after. So my double bond is right here, which comes after the 2nd carbon. So this would be 2-hexene, because there are 6. And that's the name of my compound because there are no side chains on this one. So this one's just 2-hexene. Oh, look, another straight one. These ones are fun. They're a lot easier to do than the ones with the side chains. All right, let's look at this one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons in a row. I'm going to start numbering from my place that there is closest to the double bond. So I'm going to start from this side. So this would be my 1st carbon. I have a double bond after the 1st carbon. I also have a double bond after the 3rd carbon. So when I name this, I'm going to name it 1, 3 pentene, because there are 5 total. So no side chains on this one, just 1, 3 pentene. Anywhere there's a double bond in the compound, I want to show where it is. And then the last that's the last practice one for that one. And then we're going to move on to alkynes. So alkanes are single bonds, alkenes are double bonds, and alkynes have triple bonds. Their general formula is going to be CnH2n minus 2. So however many carbons you have, you got to plug it in here to see how many hydrogens you get. And just like the ones before, they're unsaturated because that triple bond is going to take up so many of the bonds that hydrogen is not going to have to wrap around all of the carbons. Same rules apply for alkynes, but we're going to change the name of them because instead of them having the ane or the ene ending, they have the eine. I feel like I'm speaking a different language. So the prefixes are all the same, but we'll have ethyne, propyne, butine, so on and so forth. They just get the YNE ending because they have a triple bond. And when we name them, it's exactly the same process as what we were doing before. So we would find the parent chain, number the parent chain, name the branches, and name the compound. This one, instead of looking for the double bond, I'm looking for the triple bond, which is right here. So I'm going to name my parent chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The triple bond comes after carbon number 1. So that would be 1-pentyne. Name my side branches. I have a side chain here. It's coming off of the 3rd carbon, and it's a methyl group. So when I name my compound, I would name it 3-methyl-1-pentyne. So this tells me where the side chain is located and where the triple bond is located and how many total carbons I have in this compound. Last example for this video, we have this molecule here. I want the the longest chain of carbons I can with the triple bond in it. So I'm going to start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I get one more carbon there. So I'm going to make my parent chain kind of zigzag through here. And I'm going to number it closest to the triple bond. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Which would end me up with 2 different side chains. This is an ethyl side chain coming off of my number 3 carbon, and I have a methyl side chain coming off my 4 carbon. So when I have 2 different side chains, I want to name them in alphabetical order. So this one is going to be 3-ethyl-4-methyl-hexene. So side chain coming off the 3rd carbon, side chain coming off the 4th carbon. My triple bond is after my 1st carbon, and it's a hexine, sorry. So fill out your notes. You can go through. I will post my notes online so that you can see anything that you might have missed going through the video. And then tomorrow, actually not tomorrow, Monday, you have your final practice with these drawing, naming alkenes and alkynes. So I will be back on Monday with another video. Goodbye.